Here we go. How are you doing, hackers? Are you having fun here? Yes. Ears up, please. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming here today. Saturday is a great pleasure to be working with you, Miguel. What a pleasure working Saturday morning here. Everybody here with me. For today, I prepare a talk about something that is striking around my head for the past years. I've just wrapped out my slides. All demos are going to crash, are going to be a failure. It's going to be a total disaster. You maybe like it. So my talk is about low-hanging fruit that refers to a term that in security is very well known. You know what is low-hanging fruit? Ears up, please. Very few people. Low-hanging fruit means easy to find bugs. I've been working auditing security systems, and one of the things I found out is that more and more you were asked to audit many things in little time. You were paid little money. Did you experience this before? Yes. So this is a very typical thing. Those doing pen testing, our objective is to do report as to be well paid for that. So we have been working from the deer herd, which is the herd deer, to evaluate and get a super cool report of incidences while my auditing. In computing, the company Sandy Waters, we created a tool, and the name was a seal. The seal looked for the more vulnerability in the herd deer, in the assets in the company. It's as the lions hunt the deer. How many have seen and watched the Channel 2 documentaries? The deer runs so quickly. So if you put it in a slow motion, you can see how the deer turns around and jokes and has fun at the deer. So the lion's hand, they put side back on the block up deers. The deer with a belly full of water, the weaker deer is hunted by the lion. When you do intrusion on the internet, you don't go to the main server because it's the most securized one. You run through all the assets and you check out what is the low-hanging fruit, which is the herd deer in this tradition, which is the weaker point, the flank being the weakest to enter into the castle. So we are moving from one server and to the other, and assets, and play around these permissions. In the security world, we have seen over the past years that there are so many important bugs which were not that complicated as to attack should they be audited, such as self-sought. There were the most remarkable bugs impacting the security on the internet. This opened my eyes, and especially mine, regarding so simple yet important bugs. There is an initiative promoted by Google Project Zero, whose objective is to end up the low-hanging fruit. Google has put several group of researchers to research on the most used technologies on internet. What are the low-hanging fruit bugs? So an open Apache or massively used software. There's Elizabeth self-so bags there. This is the main idea underlining. So when we go back to the enterprise world, we don't talk about software bugs. We talk about things more evident. I don't know if some of you is responsible in the company, but this is being the security officer is a tough job there. It's such a complex issue for us to do so that to wrap up the low-hanging fruit is very difficult. This is a report recently published by the National Security, Homeland Security Department from the USA as of December this year, in which they talk about the deficiencies into security within the United States National Security Department. So they also have low-hanging fruit, a lot of vulnerabilities over there. This report shows there are operating systems without being patched, which is something for a person responsible for security is a real pain in the neck. Besides, they also have all the utilities, which are usually exploited by the exploitation kits, are not updated. Flash, Firefox, Chrome, WebDrive, they are not updated, which means that there are big evident failures. Everybody with a mega exploit or with the right exploitation tool, they can target it. So let's move on to another operating system which are not updated without patch. Weak password without second factor identification. So many vulnerabilities that are easily exploitable and attackable. You don't need to go to rocket science or advanced first persistent threat to attack a company. In fact, most of the times, attackers getting into the big organization, they are not doing a complex thing, just the opposite. They are doing a speed phishing attack within the network. They scale up and down, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. So I can give you some examples of low-hanging fruits. I got some demos. I will start with this. This is the Clear program. When I was in the States presenting FOCA, a tool we created in 2007 in computing systems, I presented a proof of concept, a demo where I went into the internet, I checked out for the published computing documents in the organization. I did it back then with the military in the States, with the American Missile Agency. We downloaded the documents, we extracted the data, and we mapped the internal skeleton of the network. At the very same time, at the States, they published this program Clear to avoid published documents without being metadata cleaned properly. The truth is that this does not work this well. Unfortunately, as of today, after so long, this is still badly done, and we got low-hanging fruit again. Let's enlarge the image for it to sit properly. Can you see it properly? Good. Firstly, I did a demo with the MA.1000, which is the American Missile Agency. Oh, it's cool. It's super cool. Am I right? So we went into Google. We downloaded documents, computing office documents, extension DOC. So the MDA didn't like it, and they thought about, let's delete the documents so everything is sorted out. The thing is that even this agency eliminated these documents with the Clear program. You can go to this website, which is copying all the archives. You can see it on screen, and you can type in MDA.1000 documents. And let's see what happens. We got all the copies and backup from MDA.1000 from 2005, 2015. With asterisks and slashes, we can get all the files. And if we ask for, when there is not loading, give me back exclusively and only. Now it's loading, please. It's loading. Can you see it? Please give me back exclusively and solely files.doc. We can see all the files that were initially taken out, but they are still there. They're still with metadata, IP addresses, user data. All this leaking of information is not disappear. The only effective way that would be that this metadata information would not be effective. They should have changed it. But in spite of the program Clear exists, let's check out for domain.1000. Let's check out files PDF that in their field title name they have C users. In order to get as of today, entitled C users, C.1000 XPDF. Did I type it in properly? No. Entitled C users. I didn't get it right on screen. Site ES. Let's check it out like this. If we check it out on Army domain, which is the military domain, site Army, we can see how as of today, all users using the military are still within metadata. So we can see that Jennifer Lee Taylor is native point meal. This is not a user, and so on and so on. So years later, after knowing all the leaking of data problem, the Army point mill would have a data cleaning program has still the very same issue. Not only that, systematically, we can see that people once and again are making the very same mistakes. One of the most typical and biggest mistakes we can see is how people are using mobile applications to promote their size, and they are transferring web-based technology into the mobile phone, and they're making so many mistakes. I will show you one simple example with a lot of bugs and failures, which are easily exploitable, and you don't need a specific technology to exploit them, as to how we can attack an organization. Let's move on to the browser. Did I find it? Yeah.
Para esto lo que voy a hacer es voy a utilizar una herramienta nuestra que nos permite.
I'm using a tool of ourselves which allows us to research on the mobile applications wells. For Android, this is big data with all the applications Android-based, and this allows us to look for things over here. So as of today, we got a cloud-based computing platform moving around the internet, around all the markets, looking for apps from the Android world. They download it, they index them with and all the contextual information when they were published, and they put it into a database to be checked out. This big data, we had 4.7 apps, 4 million apps, so we can see so many things. I've been researching on which is the DAB beta days. DAB induction techniques are well known for you. In 2009, I published an article, Data Injection, where I talk about the injection techniques. One of the things that all companies have to have regarding developing software is you need to secure mobile applications. I conducted a test, which is, let's check out for applications on Android that within their code they have a link to a server of IDAP. Give me all links to a host name with LDAP. So I'm checking out, I got 24, some of them are eliminated. The application itself has been taken out. If we consider the eliminated applications, we got 4. InfoDabe, MyGV, and several of them. In this very case, if we check out this in particular, and we check out for the links, we check LDAP link, we notice that they are using the backend based upon web services. When you take out an application, this application has to be taken out completely, and you need to take out the backend. In this very case, as you can see, all web services are working in the cloud. They take out the app but not the backend, which is a very, very real blunder. So check out this one, which gives us the whole list of users to be done. This is a swap request that we need to use. The backend is working, so we can behave as the application and working with this repository. In doing so, we open a book. We do burst speed. We configured the Thor settings, and we are still working with the same server. Let's move on. So far, so good. We used the repeater to send a request, which is now configured over here. I copy it, and I'm connecting myself with the server on the web service. We are making a post petition, and we are typing in the consultation and query data user, a password, and directly we are asked to do the consultation from the user, an admin user, for instance, but we lack the credentials. Nothing's happened because we are lacking some credential that if the application is working against this backhand, if the application is working against backhand, probably these credentials will be in the code. In this case, the application is downloaded because our database not only keep content but also the application codified. So I'm only connecting myself with an application to decompile the code. I connect myself to show my code and I check out for the application. In this very case, the application is here. It's my UB. Now it's totally decompressed, and I decompiled the whole data. Oh, I didn't decompress it totally. So I'm going to logs. I log in. I check out for the decompressed code and decompile. I decompress. I got all the application code. Now I'm looking for the credentials within the code. So I'm looking for the file. I connect to the file myself, and here this is. Let's see, where is it? It's on the application, and inside all the files, this is on bytecode. So let's take out the file from there correctly, and the file, little file, where is it? Over here. We got it. In this very case, it's on login 2 dash. I type in, I put the catch-up, and we can see how the call to the web service is done, which is what we're doing now, and how this is being used. We are using a user password directly onto here. Is another beginner's mistake. They left it here. The end of the show is as simple as this. We go to burp, we configure the user password login as if we were the application ourselves. We configure the password, the user, and now we can ask for whatever it is. In this very case, the only thing we did is to still working and functioning. Oh, we see this. The server cannot process the petition, the request. Why?
Well, perhaps this password has been changed. Someone changed the password. Well, there's nothing we can do. All in all, what we are doing, we are just typing or using a beginner's mistake to entry the site. In the corporate world, when you have to reposition security, one of the things that you will hear is like antivirus are useless. Who thinks so? All right. So when we talk about low-hanging fruit, one of the most curious things is that people expect that one technology will help correct everything, and they go and tell you AVs are useless, or firewalls are useless, or that users control is useless. But at the end of the day, no technology is 100% secure, and no single technology will remove all the problems. If someone thinks that AVs are useless, that person is mistaken. They play a crucial role to detect whatever is known. If someone believes that common sense is enough for not being involved in a security problem when you are browsing, you have a problem. You have a problem and you don't understand what happens in the world of security. Security is much more complex than that. It is true that there is no single security only, and then technologies have more and more problems. They have problems over time, but these problems are fixed over time. And as I said, there are no 100% secure technologies. This is an example that was made with Windows 95. Who remembers Windows 95? Okay, if you skip the logging of Windows 95, it was as easy as to ask for help and to go into that. So what we find is that when we work in security, there are many new words showing up all the time. For instance, post-quantum cryptography, anti-APTs, machine learning, cyber resilience. So very many technologies that many heads of security at companies embrace when it comes to develop the security plans and projects. And this is all good. It is all good that we apply cryptography by the time we will have post-quantum PCs. It's not bad either to include anti-APTs, and that iCloud takes a look at callbacks and to use machine learning to control whatever happens in the network of many companies and to detect anomalies not only in the traffic of our network but also in the traffic of other very many networks. But what it is essential, what it is crucial, is that security also needs antiviruses, and it also needs all the basics. So in this world of passwords, I have an idea to become rich in 10 steps. I've seen that many times in many security companies. They go and say, well, they run a company, they say that antivirus are just garbage, that they are just useless. Then we point out the limits of security checks. Then we call previous technology resolving a problem, and then we come up with a very nice term, APT. Then we viralize it, so we make all the security heads make it included in their planning, and then by the time we go IPO, all this disappears, okay, because the company is eventually sold. So that happens in all these security companies. At the end of the day, those technologies have their own limits, and there will be one more piece within the any company security strategy, but not the only one. So in this case, we just tested some companies in the magic quadrant. So they were leaders in DLP, data loss prevention. And well, the test that we did was very simple. We went to the site, we downloaded the documents, and we wanted to see whether there was any leak of data. And 100% of them had leak of data from metadata. Only one of them didn't have it. So at the end of the day, when companies are being attacked or systems are being attacked, the vulnerabilities that continue to be used are low-hanging fruits. Number one today continues to be injection techniques, SQL injection, command injection. These techniques have been known for many years. SQL injection was discovered back in 1998. We are close to entering 2016. So this technique could be older than some of the people presenting here. If we go to the Department of Homeland Security document, even the Homeland Security Department has admitted having SQL injection in the company. Okay. So which is so basic. When it comes to managing the companies, you have two options, such as in Frozen. You have Elsa and Anna. You know that the main characters, the protagonist is Anna. Who knows Anna? Who has seen Frozen? Okay, ears up. Who hasn't watched Frozen? Please, those of you who haven't watched Frozen, leave the room immediately. But you all have heard the track, Let It Go, don't you? All right, in this movie, there are two protagonists, Elsa, who is the queen of snow, and Anna, who is powerless. Elsa, the powerful one, cannot control her powers. At a given point in time in the movie, Elsa goes into her castle, gets enclosed in there, and then sings the song, the Let It Go, and she's encouraging herself and say, I feel secure, I have and actually she is just crap. In the end, she cries and she goes down. And Anna, who hasn't got any power, she is the one who fights really hard to save her sister. One of them feels secure and the other one is secure or confident. The same goes with companies. And then we had a third company, companies who pretend to be secure. So Ashley Madison, I very much love what they say below icon. It's icons 100% trusted. And then of course SSL, of course, they have to show that. To be honest, and I'm telling you all this because I'm fed up of hearing many people selling security, people talking security, pretending expecting that a single tool resolves and fixes all these security issues. So and this is not possible. You have to manage people, tech and process to get integrity, confidentiality and availability, and reaching acceptable risks, making your company resilient and having your company comply with all the legislation. And this is not easy. Okay, so I'm showing you the photograph of these people in 2006 or 2007. This person was interviewed, and he's not a very friendly person. He's got a reputation for that, and he was asked why they didn't include or had new people working in the kernel Linux thing. And he admitted that they were not like an open community, but he said that the time for simple problems and simple solutions is over. So what Torvald said about the Linux kernel has to be applied to the world of security. If someone believes that managing security in a company is a simple thing to do, this person is fully mistaken. And if that person believes that that security problem will be fixed through trendy technology, that's very, very mistaken. So you have to make your system much more robust. You have to harden systems. You have to harden your people. You have to make your people aware of security risks. You have to influence them so that they do not generate any problems to you, and you have to train your employees. You have to attack them all the time, so by the time they will be attacked by a third-party company, they are ready for that. And you also have to harden your processes. You have to take care of your providers. You have to develop software. So nowadays we have companies developing software with very many trivial flaws. You know what I told you about the password before happens to companies listed in some of the companies listed in the stock exchange in the IBIS 35 index. So when it comes to tackling security, anyone who works or who wants to manage the security in his company, that is to say, a person who wants to be confident, a person who wants to be secure, that person should do the basics. And as I say on the screen, okay, you have to patch the known bugs, you have to change default password, you have to harden default configurations, don't code with easy bugs, teach or train security to your people, do pen testing, apply security cryptography. So the security 101, in terms of the basics, they are very, very large. There are many things to do in your company before you go and buy a super fashion technology to resolve a specific problem against a criminal organization that may attack you from the outside. And we don't only have the 101, we also have the security 201, when you have to do anti-APT, code reviews, harden your network even more. But then you have the 103, you have to do predictive data leaks, privileged account control, digital surveillance, all that. And then you have to end up in the coolest things. I'm very much passionate for cool things. I only know a few companies who have a well-designed map for their organizations. They have a network mapping, including Wi-Fi and structured cabling, but they forget about the USBs that are inserted into the computers of the networks. If you were to analyze that, you will find out that many pen drives are being inserted into computers, and they work like bees. They go from one flower to another. If you want to investigate malware, you can take a look at what you have now, and you can also take a look at what you had in the past to create historical trends. And then by the time malware tools or antiviruses are being updated, you really want to find out about that. So security, you can always add one more layer to protect your system, because there is no technology delivering 100% security, because we still have low-hanging fruit. And for that, we developed a tool. The name of it is FAST. And I'll show it to you. Okay, I'll do it through Apple. I like to show it in Apple. Okay, I go to Apple domain. Well, this technology looks for the assets of a company, scans 24/7 the data of the company, and they have a scanning base where all the vulnerabilities are stored. So it's doing pen testing 365 days. And I do that with Apple because Apple is hacker friendly. If you report vulnerabilities, you will have no problems, okay? Now I'll tell you what you can find in Apple. So the actual Apple also has problems to manage the patching of all the vulnerabilities. Well, some servers are not patched for vulnerabilities. If someone wants to hurt Apple, will use those vulnerabilities, but we may also find servers that do not have URLs of other domains where they are working, so mixed content that you can do SSL strip, that is to say, to show one file under that SSL, and then the rest of the information you transfer it without that SSL. Some cookies do not have any PHP, they can be captured through JavaScript. Perhaps there is some advertising tracking cookie or PHP that is using that. So at the end of the day, when you have to manage a very large company, if you do a security auditing once every 6 months or once a year, you will be getting lots and lots of low-hanging fruit, and that will make you very vulnerable. Of course, by the time you will evaluate the investment that you have been made in security in your company, it is also very important to take into account your level of maturity to assume where you are, that is to say, with a capacity to recognize find out about the basics that are still untackled. For you to know that no matter how much you invest, you will have attackers in your network, whether you like it or not. They will always be there, and you have to assume it. And even if we are not talking about an external attacker, could be someone in the company who wants to steal or to breach data in your company, and you might as well have technology in place to fight those attackers. And you have to make enough investment and assuming that you will be successful and that you will have to respond to the attacks. So, Chris Ballard? So you know that this summer they launched the they found a vulnerability in the Jeep Chryslers. So they took the control of the CPU of a Jeep car and they do it remotely. And actually they did it, they took advantage of cars being connected through a network of data. So they just set up a false base station that was 2G. So when the car came, they did jamming, they connected to the base station, then the car was connected to the false base, then they launched the exploit and they changed the configuration of the car. What they did was just to stop the brakes. That was very famous. At the end they were reported by Jeep. Well, many people doesn't know, but well, Tesla cars were hacked this summer. Okay, who knew that or who didn't know that? Well, the same happened with Tesla. Okay, so some vulnerabilities to control Tesla remotely. So the difference between both companies is that one company comes from the digital world and is more mature, digitally speaking, whereas the other company comes from the physical world and it is not that mature in cybersecurity. To resolve the problem, Jeep, well, first sends out a pen drive with a patch to all the car owners. Imagine a person that knows nothing about a PC with a pen drive in his hand. Where shall I insert this? So that didn't work, as you can well imagine. So therefore, they organized training courses for all the dealers, where they trained all the operators to update the Jeep software. Then they also set up a call center. They called all the Jeep owners, asked the Jeep owners to bring the car to the dealers to patch the vulnerability, but not all the owners took the car to the dealer. So you calculate the amount of money that all this costed to Jeep. It's huge amount of money, and also the bad reputation in the media. Okay, Tesla, they just inserted or used the patch by default and they fixed the problem in 15 minutes. So meaning that if the security maturity of your company is very high, and if you have a problem, you will be able to resolve the problem very soon. So if you really want to manage the company, the security of your company, first of all, balance the investment that you are doing on physical security and digital security. And I'm saying so because many companies, and I guess many in your companies, you may see security guards everywhere. And sometimes security guards that are staring at a camera that is pointing at the garage door, and they are watching whether that garage door opens or closes. Sometimes happens in a working shift. That is like 150,000 euros per year. That's the expense for companies. Okay, this is for you to have a feel as to how your company is investing money in security. However, when it comes to digital security, the investment is never as large as in physical security. Second, do the basics. It is very well that in the master plan for next year you include, buying APTs or state-of-the-art technology. Perfect. But before that, do the basics. Manage the security updates, manage the patches. So do not change the default password of your routers. Okay, some companies do not change the default password. So remove the low-hanging fruit in your company. That's a vector of attack. So some listed companies say that they are valued in $30,000 million, and they were involved in security. And they were asked about well, was the attack done through spear phishing? And I say, yes, it was done through spear phishing. Okay, so you should configure your email properly and do more than the basics. Go to 102, 103, do it, and do it so that it is sustainable in the future. And last, buy the super fashion tech. And that's all from me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Bueno, no sé si alguien quiere hacer...
Any questions? All right. Hello? Will you continue updating FOCA or not? Or it is dead? No, we will publish the code. It will be open source. Thank you. And actually, the system that I showed you fast, because it's FOCA Asset Service by Telefónica, okay? Any other questions? No more questions? All right, thank you very much. And now we give the floor to Ruben.